He walked through the halls of Manhattan's elite, suited, confident, and seemingly untouchable. A Wall Street private equity executive with a law degree, Ryan Hemphill had all the marks of success. But behind the closed doors of his luxury apartment near the Empire State Building, a far more sinister life was unfolding. A cattle prod, a shock collar, and 6 women, drugged, beaten, silenced. This is the story of how charm, power, and privilege became a cover for the unthinkable. A tale of manipulation, torture, and fear, hidden in plain sight, until now. Ryan Hemphill wasn't just another suit in Midtown. He was the kind of man who knew how to fill a room, educated, articulate, and well-dressed. A graduate of both prestigious law and business schools, Hemphill built a career in the upper echelons of finance. He worked in private equity, helping manage vast sums of money for the ultra-wealthy. He maintained an image of total control. The successful executive, the sophisticated New Yorker, the man with everything to lose. What most didn't see, what he hid behind his finely tailored image, was a secret life born of domination, sadism, and deceit. According to prosecutors, Ryan Hemphill was leading a double life, one of power and privilege by day, and predation by night. He was 43. Not a man lost in youthful immaturity. A man calculated, deliberate, and, as prosecutors allege, deeply dangerous. Hemphill didn't prey on random strangers. His methods were calculated, curated, rehearsed. He used online platforms specifically known for transactional relationships, seeking arrangement, Craigslist, and FetLife, a BDSM-centric website. He presented himself as a wealthy benefactor, offering gifts, mentorship, or money in exchange for companionship or safe play. But nothing about what these women endured was safe. He would tell them what they wanted to hear. This is just for fun. I'll take care of you. This is a contract. It protects us both. Behind his assurances were coercive documents, NDAs, withdrawal agreements, and waivers. Many of the women were lured into a false sense of security, believing their encounters were part of a consensual fantasy. But what awaited them inside his apartment was not fantasy. It was horror. The apartment near the Empire State Building was pristine on the surface, just like him. But inside it was something else entirely. Several women described being met with violence the moment they entered. Hemphill allegedly punched them, drugged them, and used tools designed not for play, but for torture. A shock collar, typically reserved for training aggressive dogs. A cattle prod, designed to control 1,000-pound livestock. Weapons, drugs, cameras. Everything is meticulously prepared. One woman described being waterboarded, a method of simulated drowning banned in international torture protocols. Another said she was shocked repeatedly, her screams echoing through the soundproofed walls. He allegedly filmed parts of these assaults, surveillance footage later recovered by police, trophies of terror. And yet, Hemphill wasn't reckless. He forced victims to sign documents saying everything had been consensual. One victim told authorities, "He said if I told anyone, he'd destroy me." And I believed him. Ryan Hemphill's methods weren't impulsive. They were ritualistic. Experts say predators like Hemphill thrive not just on the act of violence, but on the psychological domination that comes before and after. From online grooming to physical isolation, he created a universe where he was the law. The shock collar, the waivers, the deception. These weren't props. They were weapons of mind control. Prosecutors described his tactics as predatory and sadistic. And unlike consensual BDSM, these acts had no safe words, no boundaries, no agreement. What Hemphill was allegedly after wasn't pleasure, it was total obedience, even if it meant destroying someone's will. One psychiatrist noted, "This is a man who blurred the line between reality and control. He weaponized power, legality, and fear, all under the illusion of consent." There are at least 6 known victims. But authorities believe there may be more. These women, many in their 20s, had come to New York looking for opportunities. Some were models. Some were students. All were manipulated. They spoke of being trapped, drugged, and humiliated. Of waking up bruised, bleeding, and terrified. Of begging to leave, only to be told they'd signed away that right. One woman described how Hemphill threatened her with a weapon. Another was coerced into signing a false affidavit stating she had not been assaulted. These weren't one-time assaults. Many occurred over months, each time more brutal than the last. Some victims feared going to the police, afraid that Hemphill's wealth and legal knowledge made him untouchable. And that fear was not unfounded. "I didn't think anyone would believe me," one woman told the DA's office. "I thought he was too powerful." It took months for the pieces to come together. Multiple women eventually reported Hemphill. But it wasn't until patterns began to emerge that investigators realized the magnitude of what they were dealing with. A team of NYPD detectives and prosecutors from the Manhattan DA's office launched an in-depth probe. They executed search warrants on Hemphill's apartment, and what they found was chilling. Weapons, sex toys modified for torture, drugs, surveillance footage, signed contracts from victims, and digital evidence linking him to the platforms where he scouted targets. DA Alvin Bragg's office called the case one of the most brutal they've ever seen. Hemphill was arrested and charged with 116 counts, including predatory sexual assault, rape, aggravated assault, witness tampering, coercion. In the courtroom, Hemphill wore a suit, but this time, the charm was gone. He pleaded not guilty. His defense: that the encounters were consensual, that the contracts proved nothing illegal happened. But prosecutors countered with a different story: a man who hid behind paperwork, abused his legal knowledge, and created a theater of consent while committing horrific crimes. He was denied bail and sent to Rikers Island, awaiting trial. The indictment reads like something out of a horror film: rape by force, restraint, surveillance, and intimidation. Prosecutors are building a case not just around physical evidence, but around pattern predation. This wasn't a misunderstanding of BDSM culture. This was the weaponization of it. "Consent ends where fear begins," said one prosecutor. And Ryan Hemphill built an empire of fear. The impact of Hemphill's alleged crime stretches far beyond his victims. In the wake of this case, experts are calling for stricter regulations on online platforms used for arrangement-based relationships and kink communities. The concern? That predators are exploiting these systems to hunt in plain sight. Communities built on trust, like FetLife, are now under scrutiny. And survivors are speaking out. Victims are in therapy. Some are still afraid to talk. Others have left New York entirely. But there's also courage. One woman testified, "He thought he could ruin me. But I'm still here. And now the world knows what he did." As the trial looms, the DA's office continues to investigate potential additional victims. This story is far from over. Ryan Hemphill lived two lives. One was public, glamorous, successful, admired. The other was private and monstrous. And now, both are colliding in a courtroom that may finally hold him accountable. What other secrets are still hidden in that apartment? How many more victims are still out there, afraid to speak? And will justice, true justice, ever be enough? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. What do you think? Was this a crime hiding in plain sight? Or did the system help protect a predator?